Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. Coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody who's joined us here on the program tonight. As we've been doing for quite some time, we're going to start off this evening with a salute to the United States of America with the singing of the national anthem, and prior to that, the Pledge of Allegiance. I would ask now that everyone please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, would you make welcome, straight from Washington, D.C., the United States Army Corps Quartet.
Yeah.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Oh, yeah! Come on, folks, let them know it.
America's finest, the United States Army Barbershop Quartet singing the national anthem. Prior to that, the host of the Barbershop Quartet Convention in 2015 gave us the Pledge of Allegiance. We want to thank these men for all that they do. We want to thank our military. It doesn't matter whether it's Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, Coast Guard, whatever it is, we thank them for their service wherever they be around the world. We want to also thank our allied armed forces wherever they might be. God bless you all. God bless you all. And may you all return home in safety when your tours of duty end. And thank you all for your service. We appreciate that. God bless you all. Folks, as we have told you before, we have a lot to talk about tonight. Literally. Okay? Last night, the folks, I'm sorry, my microphone was too far up. Last night, over on the National Mall in Washington, D.C., the National Christmas Tree, which for the first time they brought in a tree from out of Washington, a blue spruce, to be the national Christmas tree. The other tree that had been planted here in this general area had developed problems, and they chopped it down and took it away. They brought in a national tree to take its place. Yesterday they had 20-mile-per-hour winds, and one of the guy wires on the tree broke and it fell over. The U.S. government National Park Service there in Washington brought in a crane and uprighted the Christmas tree. And they had an announcer there, and they sung Christmas carols there. The problem being, there was a huge protest around the National Mall. Dozens of people were arrested, probably close to 100 people had been arrested for protesting. They got out of hand. The protesting got out of hand. BLM and people from Palestine that were asking for a complete and utter ceasefire in Palestine. They got out of hand, started causing problems, and the Capitol Police made dozens of arrests last night. Tomorrow they're going to relight the National Christmas tree on the Washington Mall. But tonight they're supposed to be lighting the Rockefeller Center tree in Manhattan. The problem is, again, we have protesters. Police are on high alert at the annual Rockefeller Christmas tree lighting celebration. It poses potential multiple large-scale pro-Palestine protests tonight. It's not going to be pretty. I don't think it's going to be pretty at all. The NBC hosts of the Good Morning show on NBC are going to be the hosts of the Christmas tree lighting there in New York tonight. The Christmas tree lighting is supposed to start at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. The show starts on NBC at 8 p.m. Law enforcement is all over Manhattan tonight. Again, large-scale pro-Palestine protests tonight in New York City. The New York City Police Department also, along with counterterrorism, the FBI, Homeland Security, and other agencies are on high alert, issuing warnings as multiple large-scale pro-Palestine protests are planned to disrupt the 91st annual Rockefeller Center Christmas tree lighting ceremony tonight. Again, it's supposed to start at 8 p.m. and I just was told, a voice in my head just told me 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Thousands of people are expected to attend this ceremony in New York until 10 p.m. tonight. This is amidst concerns of potential malicious actors, as things are known to spiral out of control with riots occurring. It happened at the Thanksgiving Day Macy's parade. NBC kept it quiet, but protests stopped the parade for a time. Now everything's ramped up there in Manhattan. Santa has been spotted already around New York, all around town. Holiday windows along Fifth Avenue are decked out, and all that means is the holiday season is here, along with malicious actors. This week, one of the final pieces in the New York's festive puzzle will fall into place as the Rockefeller Christmas tree is lit up. We're hoping it will go off without a hitch. But like I said, malicious actors around Rockefeller Center may have something to say about this before it's all said and done tonight. Now, you can go over to the internet tonight if you're interested in watching the Rockefeller tree get lit in New York. But whether you brave the crowds to go in person or you watch home on your couch, the annual Christmas tree ceremony again starts at 7 p.m. tonight, Wednesday, November 29th, 2023. It will end just before or just after 10 p.m. when the tree's 50,000 multicolored lights and the Swarovski star, the top of the tree, will light up for the 2023 holiday season. This comes from the Rockefeller Center. The trees light up just before 10 p.m. The live national broadcast begins at 7 p.m. The broadcast will be hosted by Kelly Clarkson, Savannah Guthrie, Hoda Kotb, Al Roker, and Craig Melvin. You'll be able to see it on NBC and Peacock. You can also follow the Rockefeller Center on Instagram, where the social media team will be sharing photos of the night. This year's tree measures at 80 feet tall. It's a gigantic Norway spruce stretching 43 feet in diameter. It weighs 12 tons. More than 50,000 multicolored LED lights wrap around the towering tree. It's topped with this three-dimensional Swarovski star that weighs 900 pounds, and it sparkles with 3 million crystals. Architect Daniel Libeskind designed the stunning star in 2018. Like I said, last night when they tried to do a preliminary lighting at the National Christmas Tree in Washington, it was blown over by 20-mile-per-hour winds. They did get it righted up. They sung Christmas carols and some people talked there. But again, pro-Palestine protesters showed up and created havoc. We fully expect this to continue tonight, so watch for it. Don't be surprised if it does happen. Okay? Everybody and their dog is going to be watching it. Hundreds of police officers are on the street. Literally, hundreds. We hope it's a safe and peaceful protest if it goes down. But everybody needs to be watching for it. Now, I want to talk, before we get into the earthquakes, I want to start talking about what's going on today over along the west coast of the United States. The atmospheric river is already flowing into the Pacific Northwest and into Mexico and Southern California. You can see it here on the infrared GOES satellite picture that I located earlier today. Everybody needs to be aware of it because this is going to bring high winds. It's going to bring heavy rain in places as well as snow. Okay? That snow is going to go across the United States. This is the first winter snowstorm of the season. And I'm talking big snowstorm. Yes, we've had some smaller storms that have laid snow in the Rocky Mountains and in the Pacific Mountains along the coast of California and Washington and Oregon. But this is a big one. This is a huge one. A huge atmospheric river. It's going to continue. Okay? This is what it looks like on the satellite. Okay? You can see California there. You can't see the upper part of Washington, but this is what it's going to look like. Now, the problem with that, heavy snow. Okay? I picked this up from the National Weather Service. The snowfall probability over the next 48 hours, 24 inches of snow. Upwards of 24 inches of snow is possibly going to accumulate. Okay? 24 inches of wet, cold snow. There may be some preliminary rain before that, but 24 inches of snow in the mountains. Okay? That is going to do the people in. That's going to do the people in. That storm is going to cross the United States. We've already seen snow in the Midwest. Okay? It's come across the country. Now, and you can pick up the forecast from Ryan Hall. I can't put his program here on the air or I'd get a copyright violation. I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to tell you about it. You can go over to Ryan Hall and he will explain how this atmospheric river is happening and what's happening with the weather from the central Midwest United States as this storm blows east. Okay? The problem is temperature drops. Temperature drops. Let me show you what one of the forecasters here in North Carolina has said about the temperature drop here. The coldest temperature this year has only been 24 degrees. That was January 1st. Today and tonight could be colder at 21 degrees here in North Carolina, in Charlotte area. It could be even colder where I live. For those of you that know me, I live in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains. 21 degrees Fahrenheit. That is like 7 or 8 degrees Celsius. Very cold. Very, very cold. Folks, as this temperature differentiation gets going, we're going to see more snow in the Pacific Northwest. We're going to see more snow in the Rocky Mountains. We're going to see more snow on the front range of the Rocky Mountains in Denver and blowing east. This snowstorm is going to rain havoc up in the eastern part of the United States. Okay? It's going to rain in extreme havoc. A nor'easter is expected probably sometime next week. Everybody needs to get their winter gear going. Make sure you have your winter clothes. Make sure you have your emergency preparedness kits in case there is a power outage. They're expecting power outages with some of these storms. Now, if you go over to Ryan Hall, okay, he's talking about being in an El Nino year. Temperatures over in the Pacific are warm, and they're actually getting warmer. So what is happening is we're going from an El Nino to a La Nina. That's going to change our weather philosophy completely here in the United States, and as these storms pass out of the Pacific over on land in the North American continent and goes straight out east over the Atlantic into Europe. Okay? This isn't just going to affect North America. It's going to affect the entire world. Sometime in the next 2 weeks, you guys in Europe are going to see this same storm. This is not going to be pretty. A very heavy-duty snowstorm with very cold temperatures dropping down under the freezing level. -0 degrees Celsius, 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and less. They expect 0-degree temperatures at some point next week. That's bitter cold. That is bitter cold. I want to make sure everybody is aware of what's going on. Okay, Carl Smith says it already had snow there just days ago. Yes, and there's going to be more. A lot more. Okay? Demon Catman says it's -2, which is 28 degrees Fahrenheit. They're in England, east of England. It's going to get a lot colder, guys. The temperatures are dropping and snow is coming. If you haven't already had snow, guess what? It's coming. You guys have had snow, you're going to get more. Okay? I just wanted to make sure that you all were aware of what's going on. Okay? Does anybody have any questions about anything that we said so far? Okay, I want to make sure I'm answering questions here as well. Melba is talking about just my guess that she says she's betting there will be many Christmas decorations and celebrations that will be hijacked. That wouldn't surprise me either. These protesters are not the normal protesters. Okay? Just yesterday, I saw an article in the paper and online. The activists have put out an ad asking for actors that will protest. They're paying them upwards of $20 an hour to protest. And of course, the people that get them going are going to disappear before any arrests are made. The people that put that ad out are going to disappear before arrests are made. And of course, those people that answered that ad are going to go to jail. Okay? Expect that. Elizabeth is asking what is going on with space weather, signs in the heavens. Last night I told you about a sunspot in the southern central part of the sun that unleashed several CMEs. The biggest CME was an R98.6. Excuse me, 9.86. R9.86. That is just one level less than an X-class flare. Some of that energy, some of that plasma radiation has already reached the Earth. But by Friday, the rest of that plasma radiation will reach the Earth and more. We've had 3 CMEs already and more. Folks, what is that doing? Radiation messes with human beings and all animals. It can change our behavior. It can change the way we think, the way we act, the way we feel. That radiation, as I explained last night, can cause earthquakes. All that gunk, dirt, grime, biological material that holds the plates together, the tectonic plates together around the world, all that gunk and grime and biological material gets heated up with that plasma radiation. When that happens, all that gunk and grime and biological material turn into an oil, greasy-like substance, which allows the plates to move. That causes major earthquakes. Major earthquakes. We've seen many major earthquakes already this year and in the past years. I expect it's going to get worse. We're in solar cycle 25. A big solar cycle. A solar maximum. Meaning we're going to see a lot of CMEs, a lot of solar activity. That's going to rain havoc on the Earth. Right now, the magnetosphere around the Earth is weak. The magnetosphere spent the last 11 years under a solar minimum. which made it weak. From what I'm gathered from talking with scientists and the things that I've studied, the only thing that can power that magnetosphere back up are solar flares. But right now, all that plasma radiation coming from the sun is making its way through our weak magnetosphere, going down into the atmosphere, down to the surface of the Earth, and even further down to the center of the Earth at the core, heating up the core as well. What that does is going to cause havoc. Okay? We're going to have earthquakes. Okay? In case some of you have forgotten, there's plate shifts going on. Huge pole shift going on. The pole shift, from what I'm told, is like at 48%. 48%. Okay? Once it gets to like this, it's going to cause real problems as the poles shift even more. No one that is presently living has been around when the last pole shift happened hundreds, if not thousands of years ago. No one knows what's going to happen. But already we're seeing plenty of earthquakes. A lot of earthquakes. Now, you need to be ready. You need to be ready. We've been talking to everybody here during the past 4.5 years about having an emergency plan, writing your emergency plans. If you don't already have an emergency plan, and I will bet you that most of the people here are not even doing anything about writing a plan. If you don't have a plan, when an emergency hits you, whether it's an earthquake, a powerful storm, or whatever it might be, a fire, a flood, a tornado, a hurricane, a major earthquake, or a shooting, or a power outage that goes on for a long time, a long-lasting power outage. If you don't have a plan, you're not going to even be able to think of what you're going to do. By that time, it's too late. The emergency is right directly in front of you. You're going to toss up your hands and go, oh no, what now? That's why I've been harping and harping and harping on everybody writing an emergency plan. Now, down in our website, directly below this program tonight, in our program description, on our website, you can go there and get all kinds of emergency information, including how to put together an emergency supply kit. I will almost bet you that not even half of you will have a supply kit. I will almost bet that less than a quarter of you have a supply kit. Why? Because back in 2014, FEMA did a study of emergency managers around the world. And guess what? A month later, or maybe 6 weeks later, FEMA released the results of that survey of how many emergency managers had a 72-hour kit. Less than 25% of emergency managers had a supply kit, an emergency supply kit, a 72-hour kit. Yet that's exactly what FEMA was telling us to harp on people, making sure you had a 72-hour kit. But less than 25% of emergency managers had one. That was very disappointing. So when I'm talking to you about having an emergency supply kit, and we are showing you disasters and emergencies happening around the globe, and nobody does anything about it. That puts you in a bad situation. That's the last thing we want you to have, is being in a bad situation. With no plan, no emergency kit, no food, no water, and no place to go. Think about this, guys. Think about what we've been asking you to do. You need to get on the stick and do it. Things are not getting any better here in the United States or anywhere around the world. I'm just telling you. Things are not getting any better, and in fact, they're getting worse. Politically, and I'm not going to talk politics on this channel here anymore. But I'm telling you, things are very, very bad, and they're going to go from bad to worse. And it's going to happen very quickly. It's going to be happening oh so very quickly that your head's going to spin. You need to do this. You need to do this, and you need to do it now. Don Patoka says the big 5 to consider for your master plans: prevention, protection, response, recovery, and mitigation. Make it happen. Make it happen. Don Patoka's also got it in the chat too, and I'm going to repeat it because I've heard this before. I can't do that. It's too hard. It's impossible. I can never do that. Don't tell me that. I am tired of people making excuses for themselves. Everybody can do something. Everyone can do something to prepare yourself. I get told all the time, I live in an apartment. I don't have any place for food storage. I live in an apartment, guys. I live in an apartment too. You can find places if you look. If you really desire to have food storage and a place to store water, you can find it in your apartment. And it's not going to hurt you any bit at all. I promise you that. Now, if you're scared, I totally understand how you could be scared. But if you're prepared, you're not going to be scared either. If you don't have your crap scored away, you're going to be terrified. You're actually going to be terrified. If you're fully prepared, or at least somewhat prepared, you're going to look up and say, "Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord." You might even say, "I'm glad Ron was around." Because, folks, it's going to get bad. I'm just trying to give you an idea how you can combat what's going on. It's not going to be pretty. Now, tonight, I told you in the title of this program I was going to talk about New Madrid. That was a typo on my part. We're going to talk about Southern California earthquakes tomorrow night. We're going to talk about New Madrid. Friday is Emergency Preparedness Friday. I'm going to spend 2 hours on Friday getting you prepared. Okay? I want to spend 2 hours on Friday making sure people can get prepared. I will answer questions. I will have a presentation ready to refer to in case you guys don't have any questions. But hopefully what I have for you will give you an idea of questions to ask. But folks, earthquakes in California are nothing to turn your head about and go, I don't need to worry about that, nothing's happening. Well, folks, let me show you something. Okay? You can say that nothing's going on. And you can actually refer to the USGS map today. Okay? Let me show you something on the USGS map. This may blow you away. This may even blow you away. Okay, look at this. I've actually, well, glory be, finally, okay, 2 hours ago, USGS showed about 24 earthquakes on the world map. Now they list 183 earthquakes on the world map. Like I said, just 2 hours ago they showed 80 or 24. That's a joke. That's so stupid it stinks. For the agency to show that nothing's going on is asinine. Okay? I'm just telling you. I don't like to swear. I don't like to do that. But I'm so tired of this agency not telling the truth. It sucks. Going down here in the South Pacific, a 4.5 in Homa, Tonga. Homa, Tonga, 127 kilometers deep, a fairly shallow earthquake. We go west into Papua, Indonesia. They're saying there's a 4.5 earthquake here. That's 11.8 kilometers deep. Okay? Interesting, huh? Over here, okay? It blows me away how they can tell people and show maps that show nothing. Northern Sumatra, Indonesia, just off the coast of northern Sumatra, near Sinabung. Remember Sinabung? A volcano there in Indonesia? Well, here, just off the coast of Sinabung, Indonesia, we have another 4.5. 15 miles deep. This blows me away. This is just about 30 kilometers deep. A 4.5 moderate earthquake. North of there, in the Andaman Islands, over there in the Indian Ocean. This is south of Point Blair, India. Southeast of Point Blair, India. This is a 4.8. It came out as a 5.0. This may be larger than the 4.8 that they're saying it is. They're saying it is 6.7 miles deep. Interesting. Now, guys, I'm going to leave this right here. I'm going to close it out because I want to show you something else. Okay? Let's start in Europe. Okay? They don't show anything at all, and this is the EMSC map. This is the EMSC map. They're not showing any earthquakes at all in Africa. Okay? Nothing in Yemen, nothing in Saudi Arabia. But what do we have here? We have earthquakes in northern Turkey here. I wonder where that came from. Okay, northeastern Turkey. Look at those earthquakes over in the Syria-Turkey area. Those are aftershocks of a 9.0, 10.0 earthquake that hit here earlier this year. Major earthquake over there in eastern Turkey near the Syrian border. A huge 14-mile long fissure opened up in Turkey as a result of that 9.0, 10.0 earthquake. Okay? Look at the other earthquakes in southern Turkey and northern Turkey. Western Turkey. The Dokkanese Islands just off the west coast of Turkey belong to Greece. We have earthquakes there. We have earthquakes over in Greece as well. USGS didn't show it, did they? Oh, heck no. Heck no. They don't want to be responsible for squat. Okay? They really don't want to be responsible for anything. Look over here in Italy. Numerous earthquakes over here in south and central Italy as well. Swarms are beginning again. Northern Italy, just southwest of the Alps. Pretty typical for this time of year, actually. Okay, we've actually seen larger earthquakes than that in the Alps. Okay, these are just 1.2, 1.7 tremors and some 2s, minor earthquakes in the Alps. Minor earthquakes and tremors in the Alps. Okay? Then, I don't want to move the map itself, but I want to enlarge it so you can see what I'm seeing. Okay? We go over into France. Yes, folks, we have earthquakes in France and also Spain. A little of earthquakes everywhere, don't you think? Oh yeah. But that's not all, folks. There's more. There's more. Let me show you another map. Okay? USGS said there's 184 earthquakes. Earlier they said there was 24. That's really interesting. That's really, really fascinating, actually, because there's a lot more than that. Okay? A lot more than that. All right. Just a second here, because I'm missing a map here. I want to make sure I can give it to you. Hold on just a little bit. And I wouldn't worry about it, but this is important. Hold on a second. Okay, I want to take you to the Atlantic region. I'm going to show you Western Europe, and I'm also going to show you what's going on in the Northern Atlantic, i.e. Iceland. Okay, I want to show you what's going on. Look at those earthquakes in Iceland. I wonder where they came from. Okay? The Lake James Ridge, where we have that volcano that everyone is worried about over there. Okay? Earthquakes have slowed down until today. Earthquakes have started up again. Okay? Grindavik is still evacuated. But the scientists are now looking at Grindavik and the outlying areas as a dangerous event about to take place. Okay? Yesterday they had thought that maybe they could open up Grindavik before Christmas, and they might. They might still. But the earthquakes started again today. A lot more earthquakes than they're even showing here. Okay? Look at all those earthquakes I just got through showing you over there in Europe. Literally everywhere. There's 2 minor earthquakes over in the central mid-Atlantic, in the Azores Islands just east of the central mid-Atlantic. 2 minor earthquakes in the Azores. Okay? By itself, that's not bad. That's not bad. Because these minor earthquakes have been happening there a lot. There have been a lot of earthquakes over in the Azores as of late, stretching from the mid-Atlantic to the west all the way east to the Strait of Gibraltar. Okay? Earthquakes all over here. Okay? That's going on now. Now, I told you what the USGS wanted us to know down in the South Pacific. I wonder why. I'm kind of wondering why. Why do you think they only show what they want us to know? Look at this. Okay, I'm going to have to open up another slide here because this isn't doing it now. I don't know why. Let me get another slide here. If this wasn't important, I wouldn't even show it to you. Okay, USGS only showed a couple earthquakes in Indonesia, didn't they? Well, gosh golly gee, guys, there's a lot more. There's a whole heck of a lot more. They may think that nobody cares, but most of us should care. Most of us should care a lot. Okay? Tajikistan, over here in the center left here. Tajikistan has had 2 earthquakes there, one a 4.8 and a 4.5. As we go over to the Himalaya Mountains there in southern China, there's a 4.5 there. Over in India, what do we have? Another 4.5. Okay? Then I want to point you to another point of interest here. Okay? Over here, okay, coming out of eastern China into Myanmar. I think most of you know what I'm talking about here. Coming out of central China into Myanmar. Those are also 4.5, 4.7 magnitude earthquakes. Okay? Now, you probably don't know this, but China is trying to press Myanmar into war. China is moving big artillery, their tanks and great big huge military vehicles into Myanmar here. Okay? They may be going to war there. Okay? China's opening up a war in Southeast Asia. Okay? Opening up a war there. They're also trying to establish whether they're going to attack in Taiwan. Yeah, they want to do that too. Now, I don't have a picture of this because I screwed up. But I want to show you something else. So I'm going to use my Intrepid phone. Okay? I want to show you what's going on over there in Australia. Because Australia has got an earthquake in southwestern Australia. Okay? Over here in Arthur River, Western Australia, we have a 2.4 earthquake. Arthur River, Australia, a 2.4 earthquake. We've been having 2.4s up to 3.5s in that same area this year. Okay? Unfortunately, I didn't capture it on this photograph, on this slide. My bad. But as you can see over here in Indonesia, we have plenty of earthquakes here. Most of these are 3s, which are small earthquakes, 3.0, 3.9. But we also have some 4s, 4.3 to 4.8. Okay? All throughout Indonesia here. They also stretch up here to the northern right side of the slide here, up into the Philippines. All over the Philippines, stretching up to almost Taiwan. 3s and 4s all over this area. Literally. Literally, guys. It's incredible what they're showing here. Yet USGS is only showing 128 earthquakes on their map. They're not even showing half of what's actually going on. Okay? I don't get it. I don't think I'll ever get it. There's one earthquake off the eastern shores of Japan. It's a 4.8 in the volcano islands east of Japan. Not a big deal. Nobody felt it, but it's off of Honshu out there in Japan. Now, let's go and take a look at South America. I wonder what's going on. Folks, USGS would show 2 earthquakes here in South America. Okay? I can tell you it's more like 18 earthquakes total, all over the western and northern coast of South America. Look at all those earthquakes in central Chile, going over into Argentina. Okay? San Antonio de los Cobres, Argentina, 4.5, 4.7. Yes, we have 3s all over Chile here, going up into northern Tarapacá and Antofagasta, Chile. Mostly 3s. Going over here into Central America, we have some 3s and we also have a 4. Okay? From Panama into Costa Rica, we have 3s, and we also have a 4.4 in Costa Rica. Okay? Interesting, huh? We have 2 earthquakes in southern Puerto Rico. There's a 2.0 and a 2.8 near Guanica, Puerto Rico. 2 aftershocks of 2 8.0 and 8.4 earthquakes that hit here 4 years ago. An 8.0 hit southwestern Puerto Rico December 26, 2019. 2 days later, December 28, 2019, there was an 8.4 earthquake that hit again. Both earthquakes were major earthquakes, causing major damage, killing and injuring hundreds of people. They have more today. 2 more minor earthquakes in southwestern Puerto Rico. Then northeast of there, north of the U.S. Virgin Islands, we had a 3.7 earthquake. A 3.7 earthquake that the Cayman Ridge dropped there. The Cayman Ridge pulls out of eastern Guatemala, goes through the Caribbean, passes the Cayman Islands, goes north of Jamaica. It continues eastbound and touches southern Cuba, goes north of the Dominican Republic and Haiti, continues eastbound over Haiti and the Dominican Republic, and goes north of Puerto Rico, out around the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, around the Leeward Islands, and heads south in the Atlantic Ocean, and then it abruptly makes a western turn into Venezuela. The Cayman Ridge. We've seen plenty of earthquakes on the Cayman Ridge in the past years that we've been doing this program. A lot of earthquakes here. A lot more than 128 earthquakes that USGS would have us believe. They'll never tell us the truth. It's just not going to happen. Down here in New Zealand, these are all 2s down here on the North and South Island of New Zealand today. This down here on the South Island of New Zealand in Ajax, West Coast, New Zealand, is a 2.33. The North Island has a lot of earthquakes, but they're all 2s. After the quakes go north here, leaving New Zealand, going up into the Kermadec Islands, now we're talking about 3.4 and 3.8 earthquakes. That's all they have. There's no 4 point anything over here in New Zealand at all. Nothing. They got lucky today. The South Island of New Zealand had a 5.0 just 2 weeks ago. A large 5.0 hit the South Island of New Zealand 2 weeks ago. Fortunately, there was no major damage. It was southwest of Christchurch, in the mountains of the South Island. They dodged a bullet there. They really dodged a bullet. Okay? Then let's take a look at Alaska and the west coast of North America. Okay? Look at these earthquakes in Alaska. There's actually a lot more earthquakes here than they're showing. And this is the EMSC map. All those earthquakes in Alaska, they're all 1s and 2s. Not a real big deal. But you notice that one earthquake over here in southeastern Alaska near Juneau. A 1.7 tremor. Now you can see these earthquakes over in the Pacific Northwest. Okay? Let me show you those earthquakes here. Okay? We're going to be talking about earthquakes in California here in just a minute. We have 2 earthquakes in the Pacific Northwest that everybody needs to know about. Let's go back to the USGS and just see if they still have them on the map. I chuckle because I have done this before and they haven't shown anything. Okay? I chuckle. Okay, look over here in Indonesia. They're not showing anything. I just showed you Indonesia and the Philippines loaded. Loaded. This earthquake here, just off the coast of Honshu here, a 4.7, Katsura, Japan. Just off the coast. Not a big deal. A moderate earthquake just off the coast of Japan. Okay? Minor tremors and microquakes over here in the Aleutian Islands. Let's go over here to the Pacific Northwest. I wonder what happened. Over here on the eastern side of this earthquake fault over here, the Blanco fracture zone, okay, right over here. This is a 4.3 moderate earthquake on the Blanco fracture zone. It's in the Cascadia megathrust earthquake region. Okay, it's in the center part of the Cascadia megathrust earthquake region. South of there, nearly on top of the Cascadia subduction zone, is a 3.6. This is west of Pistol River, Oregon. Okay, a 3.6 earthquake. This earthquake on the Blanco fracture zone is a 4.3 off the coast of Bandon, Oregon. Like about 186 miles off the coast of Bandon, Oregon. This one here, off the coast of Pistol River, is 73 miles off the coast. It's in the water, but look where it's at. Should we be worried? No, I don't think there's anything to be worried about yet. If we get large swarms of earthquakes, yeah, then it would be something to worry about. Really quickly, let's go up here to the north. I want you to see what's happening here. This is Snoqualmie, Washington. I have friends that live here. This is a 1.2 tremor. Just a 1.2 tremor. Northwest of Mount Rainier. This is 0.1 microquake at Carbonado. Carbonado is in the western foothills of Mount Rainier. There also happens to be a seismograph there. Folks, I'm deeply disappointed that they're only showing one microquake, one, not even a tremor or another earthquake, because there are. There are. Mount Rainier is getting hit with large earthquakes. 3s and 4s. 3s and 4s. 4s being moderate earthquakes. Mount Rainier is getting hit, but the agencies will not admit what's going on. They don't want to worry anybody. Over here at Mount Hood, remember me showing you a lot of activity? A lot of magma activity here at Mount Hood yesterday? Guess what? They're showing us a 0.3 microquake at Mount Hood. They're saying it's 5 miles north-northeast of Government Camp. Folks, this is right down the center of Mount Hood. Right smack down the center of Mount Hood. They're saying it's 1.7 miles deep. It's not northeast of Government Camp. Government Camp, folks, Government Camp. I want to show you this so you don't forget it. Government Camp is way down here on the southern slopes of Mount Rainier. Okay? Way down here. And yet, USGS wants us to believe that that earthquake is 5 miles northeast of Government Camp, Oregon. They just don't know what they're talking about. Okay? It's right down the center of the volcano, 1.7 miles deep. But this is just a microquake. I showed you good-sized earthquakes at Mount Hood last night. Again, they're lying to us. Well, they just don't want to worry anybody. Well, folks, worrying is not the half of it. Worrying is not the half of it. They're going to have to do some splaining when one or all three of those volcanoes erupt. Okay, I showed you what's going on. I showed you the seismograms. That is proof positive of what's going on there. They can try to poo-poo it, but they're pooping on themselves. They're literally pooping on themselves. I hate to be that honest with you, but that's what they're doing. Because when one or all three of those volcanoes erupt, they're going to have egg all over their face and have to explain to a wondering public that's pissed off why that they did not get any notifications. I believe that they have no intention of telling anybody anything. My honest opinion. Okay? My honest opinion. Now, I want to show you these only because 3 hours ago, USGS did not show anything here. This is just off the coast of San Francisco, off the coast from San Francisco Zoo. This is a 1.6 tremor west of San Francisco Zoo here, on the San Andreas Fault. Go figure. 3 hours ago, this was not showing. Yet, this earthquake hit here at just after 3 p.m. Eastern Time today. But USGS did not even show it until now. Over here on the Hayward Fault. This is San Lorenzo, California. This is a 2.1 on the Hayward Fault. Okay? I showed you the faults here yesterday. The San Andreas on the west, the Hayward over here just east of San Francisco Bay, and just on the other side of the mountains we have the Calaveras Fault. 3 of the most dangerous earthquake faults in the world. South of there, they come nearly together here. Okay? This is Hollister, California. A 2.0 earthquake here. Okay? Further west here, San Juan Bautista, California. Folks, this is on the San Andreas Fault. A 0.7 microquake on the San Andreas Fault. Now, for kicks and giggles, we're going down here into Southern California. Before I show you the seismograms here, I want to show you what USGS has told us. This, folks, is off the coast of North San Diego County, off the coast of Carlsbad, California. This earthquake hit here just after 10 a.m. Eastern Time today, which was just after 7 a.m. Pacific Time today, off the coast of Carlsbad. This is a minor 2.1 earthquake in the ocean here. Nobody felt it on land, just a minor quake. Like I said, they were not showing this 3 hours ago. They were not showing anything here at all. Over here, the Paula Indian Reservation in northeast San Diego County. I shouldn't say northeast, this is North San Diego County. This is at an Indian reservation. It's a 1.2 tremor. Okay, it's on the Elsinore Fault here in Paula, California. Just a 1.2 tremor. We go almost directly east here. Okay, this is Valdese, California. That's 0.8. Okay, guess what this is? On the San Jacinto Fault, as well as this here in Idlewild. Idlewild. Northeast of here, just west of the San Andreas, Banning, California with a 1.2, a tremor. This is Cabazon. This is part of the Anza Gap. The Anza Gap stretches from the Anza Borrego Desert State Park in northeast San Diego County all the way up here. Okay? 0.8 in Cabazon. This is also a 0.7 in Cabazon as well. We go north here. Yucaipa, a 0.8 microquake here. Okay? This happened at 4:19 a.m. this morning. Okay? Then we go over here. I just love this. Okay? Marengo, California. Marengo Valley. A 0.7 microquake here. They're not showing us much here. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Let's go over here to the Salton Sea real quick. Okay? This is just north of Nyland, California. USGS has this as northwest of Nyland. What are you talking about? This is in the Salton Sea. Underneath the Salton Sea. 1.7 miles deep. A 1.2 tremor here. Okay? This is on the eastern flank of the Salton Butte volcano. The Salton Butte volcano is underwater here. Salton Butte volcano is underwater. Over here west of there, this is west of Westmoreland. I'm going to show you in a few minutes a seismogram of Westmoreland, California. It shows here 1.5 tremor here, west of Westmoreland. Okay, Westmoreland is over here, guys. Westmoreland is actually right here. Right there. Small town of Westmoreland. Okay? So that earthquake is actually quite a distance from Westmoreland. Okay? Further south, in the Imperial Valley, I'm going to show you a seismogram here in a few minutes from Imperial, California. USGS has a 1.5 tremor here in Imperial Valley, in the town of Imperial here. 1.5 tremor. Okay. This is El Centro Naval Air Station. I'm going to show you a seismogram from El Centro today in just a minute. Okay. Over here, we have a small grouping of tremors here. This is a 2.6 earthquake. This is a 1.8 tremor here. And this is a 2.2 earthquake. Ocotillo Park, California here. It's in the Imperial Valley in the Imperial Desert out here. Okay? And I want to show you something. See this highway? This is I-25, Interstate Highway I-25 here, running out of San Diego over here into the Imperial Valley. I've driven this highway many, many, many times, both in my personal vehicle and in police cars. Okay? I'm very familiar with this area. Okay? Richard Smith says, "Oh, Don P, I'm getting a UV5R ham radio for Christmas. That's awesome. Way to go, Rich. We appreciate that. That's going to be cool. That's going to be really cool." Anyway, let's get out of this USGS map and go to some seismograms to give you a good idea of what exactly is going on here. Okay? I know you'd probably rather see seismograms than that stupid map. So let's take a look at some seismograms. Okay? I know you're going to love this. You're going to eat it up. You're going to eat this up, aren't you? Okay? First off, don't you just love this? Folks, this is the Baldwin Hills. This seismogram comes from the Baldwin Hills. The Baldwin Hills is northwest of Los Angeles City. This is an oil and gas pumping operation here. I don't know if there's 100 pumps or 150 pumps and jacks all over the Baldwin Hills. Back in the 40s, when they toppled over all the trees and leveled the mountains here in the Baldwin Hills, yes, there were mountains. They bulldozed all those trees down and leveled this out and started putting up pumps and jacks. And actually, folks, that's how USGS got started, trying to find oil for the gazillionaires over here in California. The Baldwin Hills, you don't see anything but tremors and microquakes here. Tremors and microquakes here in the Baldwin Hills. Very little going on here. Okay? There has been larger events happen here in the Baldwin Hills in the past. But this is what's happening here. I'm going to just go by alphabetical order here. We're going out to Barstow. Look what we have to show you in Barstow. Almost nothing. Out here in Barstow, if you look closely, okay, you can actually see some magma on the seismogram. Yes, there's magma that's heading out into the desert here. Yes, there's magma out here, guys. That's out in Barstow. Okay? Let's go out west. The Channel Islands, guys, look at this. The Channel Islands. There are several faults out here in the Channel Islands off the west coast of Los Angeles. Look what's happening here. You can see seismic energy hitting here. There's a lot of it. This is mostly tremors. Yes, there's a lot of microquake activity here as well. The largest stuff is just tremors. 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, maybe even 1.4 tremors. The largest ones here. The largest ones here. Okay? Nothing much going on here. Okay? Let's keep going. That's the Channel Islands. Now let's go further east, over to Chino, California. My friend Art lives over here in Chino. Look what we have here. More and more larger tremors here. I don't think we have any earthquakes at all here in Chino. We have in the past weeks. This is actually pretty good seismic activity. These are larger tremors, 1.4, 1.5, maybe 1.6 tremors here. Just a lot of tremors, that's it. No earthquakes here, yet. Del Amo, north of Los Angeles, Del Amo. Look at here. We've seen more activity in Del Amo before. We have a bunch of tremors, as you see. Heavy-duty tremor activity in Del Amo. Over here, near the center right here, on the black line. Let me enlarge this so you can truly see what we're talking about here. Okay? This is after 9 a.m. Pacific time this morning. Over on the left would be 9 a.m. Over here on the right here would be about 9, I want to say 9:13 a.m. We have probably a 2.3 minor earthquake here. 2.3 minor earthquake. The rest are nothing but tremors. There's no microquakes here at all. This is all tremor activity and that one earthquake here. Okay? Del Amo, California. Now, let's go out to Ellis. This is also north of Los Angeles. Look at this. Look at this. For the first few hours here this morning, just nothing but tremors. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, after 6:30 this morning, and now this is probably 6:04, 6:05 this morning, all of a sudden we get into some pretty darn good earthquake activity. Okay? 2.5, 2.8 earthquakes here. 2.5, 2.8 earthquakes here. Then we go down to tremors again. Then, after 11:15 on the red line here, excuse me, it gets going again. Okay? This is at 11:18 this morning. Again, we see the top of this seismogram signal here. The bottom is hidden by activity that came after that. This is probably at least a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. Still a minor, considered a minor earthquake. Okay? But again, we see this happening here. This is an increase in seismicity here. An increase in seismicity here at Ellis, California. Okay? Then we go over to southeastern Los Angeles area. Fontana, California. Fontana, California. Folks, this is big time information here. What usually we've seen is nothing more than minor tremors. Very tiny tremors here in Fontana. Look what we have here. We have full-blown earthquake activity here. Yes, there's a lot of tremors here, but there's also a lot of 2s here all over this seismograph. This is the most activity that we've had in Fontana, California in the 4 years that I've been doing this. Okay? For the most part, we're having 2.0s to 2.5 earthquakes here in Fontana. Minor earthquakes. Some people may have felt these earthquakes. We have no felt reports. But you can see the earthquake signatures here. The long vertical lines here. 2.4, 2.5 earthquakes all over this area. Okay? You'll look down here at the bottom left here. You can see what I'm talking about. And the bottom right. 2.4, 2.5 earthquakes at least. Fontana, California. I never lived there, but I've been in Fontana. I've been in Ontario, Rancho Cucamonga, all over this area. Okay? There's nothing much in Idlewild. Okay? I didn't see any activity listed by USGS in Idlewild. But, look here. These are microquakes and tiny tremors here. 1.1, 1.2 tremors, nothing more than that. All over Idlewild. Usually when we get tremors here, 1.1, 1.2 tremors, USGS even tells us, oh, they've had some tiny tremors. Not today. They don't want to admit to anything today. Okay? Let's go out to Rancho Mirage. Okay? This is a San Andreas fault causing all of these tremors here. Nothing but tremors out in Rancho Mirage today. Okay? Just tiny tremors. Nobody's feeling these. But this is a lot of activity here caused by the San Andreas fault. Okay? Let's keep moving. Now I want to go over to southwestern LA area. Laguna Bell. Let's go over to see Laguna Bell here. Look at this, guys. Nothing but tremors down here at the coast area of LA. The south coast of LA. Nothing but tremors at Laguna Bell. Interesting. Yes, we've had bigger tremors than that. We've even had some microquakes and tremors and minor earthquakes 2.0s here. Today, nothing but minor tremors here. Laguna Bell. Then I want to take you over to Long Beach, Anaheim area. Okay? The first place I want to show you is State Street. Good old State Street. State Street is over by Long Beach. This is State Street, guys. State Street, we're seeing some tremors and we're seeing some minor earthquakes. Minor earthquakes 2.0 to 2.9 here. And yes, I believe there may have been at least one 2.8 or 2.9 here. You can pick them out. It's long vertical signatures here. You can pick these out all day long. That's still a lot of activity here. Long Beach, California. Let's look at Light Hype over by Anaheim. Look at that. You guys tell me what's going on here. This, folks, shows a ton of tremors. And this may also show a bunch of 2.0 earthquakes A bunch. This is the most activity we've had here at Light Height. This is constant activity. This is constant activity here. Dana Large says she can see Idlewild from her laundry room window. Cool. Yes, Diana, this is a lot of tremors here. A bunch. This Long Beach, Anaheim area is shaking. It's shaking a lot. Okay? Let's go over to Los Angeles, down at the Civic Center downtown, where LAPD, the City Council, and everybody else has their big, huge building there. Big, tall building. Nothing but tremors here. Tiny, tiny tremors here. Not even microquakes. These are all tremors here. 1.0 tremors. Very little happening here in downtown LA. Okay? Let's go over to Mira Loma and Loma Linda. Look what's happening here. Remember me showing you this area? USGS didn't show anything at all. Nothing. Look what's happening here. Mira Loma, this is Mira Loma. And if this is happening to Mira Loma, Loma Linda is also feeling this. Okay? We're seeing 2.8, 2.9, 3.0 earthquakes here. Yes, there's a bunch of tremors here, but look what's happening. Okay? Look what's happening here. Let me enlarge this so you can see some times and angles here. Okay? This seismogram started recording activity at 4 a.m. this morning on the top black line. By 6:30, it started really kicking up, didn't it? Prior to 6:30, it was fairly calm with some tremors. Then it kicked up, and it kicked up until after 10 a.m. this morning. So, for almost 4 hours, we're seeing 3.0 earthquakes happening, back to back to back to back. This is nothing but 3.0 earthquake activity. Yes, we have some minor earthquakes here as well, 2.0, 2.9. But these longer lines, guys, are 3.0 earthquakes. Small earthquakes all over this area. It's moving. The Mira Loma, Loma Linda area is moving. Big time. Big time. It's been picking up for quite some time. We used to only see microquakes and occasionally tremor there. It's increased over there. Significant increase in Mira Loma, Loma Linda area. Now let's go northwest over to Moore Park, northwest of LA. We've seen a lot of activity here. Now we're seeing a bunch of tremors and minor earthquakes. Minor earthquakes meaning 2.0, 2.4, 2.5 earthquakes. There's a few of those on this seismogram. You can see what's happening. That's still a lot of activity here at Moore Park. The activity is increased here. Almost universally throughout the LA area, it has increased. Okay? A significant increase here. Out to Pardee in the same general area. Okay? This, folks, is for the most part tremors, but there's some minor 2.0 earthquakes here as well. Still a significant increase here. This used to be every once in a while you'd see a minor tremor. Now there's actually a few earthquakes mixed in all those tremors, but still an increase in tremor activity here in Part E. Okay, let's go over northbound to the northwest coast. Playa del Rey, Marina del Rey area. Folks, this is almost nothing. 1.0, 1.1, 1.2 tremors, that's all this is. Okay? This is almost the least amount of activity we've seen at Playa del Rey, Marina del Rey area. Okay? Nothing much going on. Okay? Now, let's keep moving here. I want to take you over to Rancho Palos Verdes. Okay? This is over near where my wife was born. Okay? Look at this. Microquakes all over and some tiny tremors here. Some tiny tremors, that's all. Rancho Palos Verdes, fairly quiet. I've got friends and her relatives that live over in this area. Okay? Now, let's take a look at Rinaldi. Let's go over to Rinaldi. This is also north of Los Angeles. Okay? These are minor tremors, and that's it. The biggest tremor here is maybe a 1.4, 1.5 tremor. Fairly quiet here. Rinaldi. Okay? Let's go over to Rio Hondo as well. Rio Hondo is a commercial and a housing area. Basically what they have here in Rio Hondo is what they call a bedroom community. Yes, there are some businesses here. I would be remiss if I didn't admit to that. But this is a lot of tremor activity. This is a huge increase in tremor activity here. I actually feel that we may see some earthquake activity here very soon. Okay? This is kind of serious. Rio Hondo, California. This is the most activity we've seen here in some time. Okay, that's a lot of activity. Let's keep moving here. I want to show you Riverside, California. Riverside has died way down. Okay? 2 or 3 years ago, we were seeing some good sized tremor activity. And my former partner and I were saying that Riverside looks like it could cook, meaning take off in earthquake activity and have a major earthquake. It still could, but right now all we're showing is nothing but minor tremors. Nothing more, nothing less. Minor tremors here in Riverside. That might pick up in the next few weeks, I don't know. This is the lowest amount of activity we've seen at Riverside in a very long time. A long, long time. Now, I want to go over to... There's a place called Santiago Mountain. It's a repeater site for radio and TV stations. Radio and TV stations have their radios and antennas here on top of Santiago Peak. There just happens to be a seismograph there as well. Of course there is. Here we're showing a bunch of tremors. 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, even 1.3 tremors here. Nothing more. This is less seismic activity than we've seen here at Santiago Peak before. I've actually felt tremors there myself when I've been on top of that mountaintop in Los Angeles, working on radio equipment, servicing the equipment. Okay? Been there, done that. Wore out a pair of boots up there. Okay? Let's go over to Walnut La Puente area. This is a caldera. This is a volcano over on the eastern side of LA. Walnut La Puente area. Look what's happening here. Yes, we're seeing some earthquakes. Yes, we're seeing some magma here, causing most of these earthquakes here. This is typical of what we see over at Mount Shasta at LBO seismograph. Mount Shasta, we used to see this kind of activity a lot. We've seen this activity over at the Salton Sea, okay, over on the east side of the Salton Sea, Bombay Beach. We've seen this activity several other places as well. Most of those are volcanoes. This is the same thing going on here. Folks, people live in this area. People are feeling these earthquakes. There are actually earthquake reports here caused by magma here. Caused by magma. In previous weeks, guys, we would see that they cut off the top and the bottom of these seismic signatures. Here, they may have done that, but it looks like they've let the seismograph run. You can actually see how strong these earthquakes are for the most part. Okay? Yes, we have some 3.4, 3.5 small earthquake activity hitting here. There's nothing big. Most of this is minor earthquakes and tremors here. Yes, there's some 3.5 earthquakes here, back to back to back, as you see over on the right-hand side near the top, in that green area. You see that there. All the rest of this is minor earthquake activity. 2.8, 2.9 activity, and lesser activity than that. Okay? Okay? Let's go over into the Imperial Valley now. Okay? I want to start over here at El Centro. El Centro. Our friend Juanito here, part of our EMA family, lives out here in El Centro. Look at the earthquake activity here. Look at that activity. Some of this is also magma activity. Magma activity causing that stylus on the seismograph to jump all over the place. Yes, we have good-sized earthquakes happening here at El Centro. Okay? We're having 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes here at El Centro. We're also having a bunch of tremors here and minor earthquakes, 2.0, 2.5. But there's also microquake activity happening here as well. Okay? El Centro, California. Imperial Valley. I've done a lot of work there, guys. I spent a lot of time down there. Good old El Centro. Now I want to show you Salton City. This is the west side of the Salton Sea, the central west side of the Salton Sea. Nothing but minor tremors, and guess what? Magma activity. Okay? You're seeing magmatic activity. What's it called? Pulsed magma activity. Those horizontal lines, folks, get larger and they get smaller. I should say longer and smaller. Okay? They get thick and get small again, get thick and get small again. Magma is being shown here. Yes, we have some tremors here as well, just some very minor tremor activity. We've actually had earthquake activity here at the Salton City before. The Salton City, folks, is a ghost town. It's a ghost town. There's nothing really active here at Salton City at all. Yes, we have some tourists to go walk around the ruins of old mobile homes, gas stations, and country stores there, but nothing's there anymore. Just old buildings and relics. Salton City. One evening I may bring in pictures, and I do have a lot of pictures here of the Salton Sea area, where you're going to see what had happened back in the heyday of the 50s and 60s and what it looks like now. Okay? Okay? Let's look at Westmoreland. Okay? We showed you we had a tremor here at Westmoreland, didn't we? Just east of Westmoreland, we had 2 minor earthquakes and a tremor. Okay? Right together. Look what it shows here. We don't see those 2.0, 2.2 earthquakes here, but we do see a lot of tremor activity. This seismograph is in Westmoreland, in that tiny small town of Westmoreland. Okay? Plenty of seismic activity, but it's all tremors. It's all tremors there. Okay, let's keep moving. Let's go over to Bombay Beach. Bombay Beach is over on the east side of the Salton Sea. The central east side of the Salton Sea. Actually, it's just south from being central. Okay? Folks, we're seeing kind of the same seismic activity that we saw at Walnut La Puente. Folks, we do have a volcano, the Salton Butte volcano, that's actually southwest of Bombay Beach. Bombay Beach is right on top of the San Andreas Fault here. Folks, we're having 2.5, 2.8 earthquakes. We're also having 3.2, 3.5 earthquakes here. All over the place. 3.5 over here on the right top. Okay? Over here on the left, on that black line, the 7 o'clock line here. That seismic event started happening at 6:59 a.m. this morning on the green line on the right-hand side. Okay? It started off as a 3.0 earthquake, maybe a little more than that. Over here on the left-hand side, that black line is topped off and bottomed off. So this may have been a 3.5 earthquake. Started off on the right-hand side at 6:59 as being a 3.0. It increased in magnitude over here after that, after 7 o'clock. Now, there's almost a full 60 seconds of seismic activity. A full 60 seconds of seismic activity. Primary waves. Off to the right, we see a secondary wave that lasted nearly 2 minutes. This was indeed a 3.5 earthquake, at least a 3.5 earthquake. Then we had a body wave that lasted for a while as well. Okay? Wow. Wow. The rest of these earthquakes are actually no more than 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes at Bombay Beach. Bombay Beach, we see this kind of activity every day. Not just once a week, but every day. Okay? Then there's another seismograph. It's further south from the Salton Sea. It's over in a place called Holtville, California. Holtville, California. Back in the day, I was on a debate team in Poway, California, over in San Diego County. We took a bus over here to Holtville and did a debate tournament, a speech and debate tournament. And yes, I actually won something. Don't remember, but I won something. Here, guys, we're seeing a lot of tremor activity. And we're seeing some 2.0 earthquakes as well. Holtville. This is the Salton Butte Volcano Desert Research Station in Holtville. The Desert Research Station in Holtville. Okay? Look at all this activity here. This is nothing new. This is actually less sometimes than what we've normally seen. Okay? The Salton Sea Desert Research Station here in Holtville. That's decent amount of earthquakes. A decent amount of earthquakes. Okay? And yes, there's been a lot more than that. I'll just tell you that. Because I've seen it. Been there, done that. Seen it. I own the t-shirt. Literally. Okay? Now, I want to show you something else that I forgot to set up before I came on the program today. My bad. But it's halfway decent enough to be able to find it here and put it up here so you can see it. So if you just give me a second here, and I'll bring this up. Okay, I've criticized Caltech. I've criticized the USGS numerous times. Many, many, many times. And rightly so. Because when they negate showing people what's going on, they put people's lives in danger, in my humble opinion. Everybody's got an opinion, and I've got mine. Just like everybody has something else here. Okay? But for the longest time, USGS was not showing much going on over here in Calipatria. Calipatria is just over on the southeastern side of the Imperial Valley, just south of the Salton Sea. Like I said, I've had issues with the agency because when I've showed you activity here, typically what they've done is to not show the activity. They've either shut it off, shut it down, or turned it so far down it's not showing anything going on. And like I said, I've had issues with that. Huge issues with that. So let me show you Calipatria. Okay? Let me show you Calipatria. It's right here. Now, I'm showing you the top of this seismogram. They've done it here again. during the past 3 weeks, they have completely shut down the seismograph from the very beginning. They usually don't show anything here at Calipatria until later in the day. At least this time, folks, they started off with the seismograph on at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Up at the top of this, we see 5 p.m. going down after 5 p.m. Okay? We even see activity coming after that until just after 6 p.m. 1800, 1815 here. We're seeing tremors here. After 6:45, 6:46 last night, they shut off the seismograph. Shut off the seismograph until 7. Now I want to get this right. About 7:40 this morning. It was shut off from just after 6. Actually, I believe that is just after 7 p.m. last night. 7:01 p.m. we had a tremor there. So this was, the seismograph was turned off until about 7:40 this morning. Then they turned it on. But folks, I don't believe they turned it on sufficiently. I think this is a turned down seismograph. Okay? What we're seeing here is tons of tremors. Tons of tremors and microquakes. And minor earthquakes as well. 2.0, 2.2, 2.3 earthquakes. Okay? Look at that. Look at that. There's probably close to 100 earthquakes right here. Right here. Just on this one simple seismogram that they're showing. Why did they omit 12 hours of information? What is going on during those other 12 hours here? Inquiring minds want to know. Caltech, you guys and USGS monitor this program. We would like some answers. Caltech, email me. USGS, email me and tell me why you have to turn this seismograph off. This is a USGS seismogram. Why is it turned off? Inquiring minds want to know. Aveyah says we also have the only moving geyser in the world called the Nyland Geyser. Exactly. Folks, if you didn't already know, let's talk about that Nyland Geyser. Last year, I believe it was, on my last channel before this one, I showed you the moving geyser. There was actually someone that took a movie of it, a video. I showed it. The California Department of Transportation there in the Imperial Valley. They have a highway there. And the geyser was actually moving towards the highway. So they diverted the highway. So the geyser would no longer interfere with the highway. And we showed that here on this program. Isn't that wild? We showed that here on the program. Okay? It's wild. It's just a small geyser, guys. It doesn't spit up above ground very far. But it does move. And there's moving water in it because there's geyser action. Okay? It is just south of the Salton Butte volcano. Okay? Richard Smith just came on the chat, says there's a 3.3 minor earthquake near Panay, Philippines. Not surprising. Unfortunately, the USGS doesn't want to show anything. Go figure. Go figure. Does anybody have any questions? Evio says, Ron, you are awesome. No, I only try to be. Yeah, I get ticked off by these clowns at the supposed major seismic agency in the world lying and demeaning what they're doing. And when they don't show information, when they hide information, when they outright omit information, that's called lying. They're lying to the public. And it's going to get someone killed. Because what they're doing is not giving people information that they need to prepare. If you thought that there would be a major earthquake hitting your town or near your town, wouldn't you leave? Wouldn't you leave? Probably, most assuredly would. But these people at the USGS, Don Patoka says a sin of omission. Don, you're right. There's going to be a major earthquake. There's going to be some volcanic eruptions on the West Coast. And people are going to be killed because USGS and Caltech and some of the other organizations up here, all up and down the West Coast, are not talking about it. Oh, it's nothing. It's nothing. They're not showing it on the map. But all you have to do is do some digging and find the seismograms, and you're going to see it. These volcanoes are going to erupt. There's going to be some major earthquakes. And people are going to get hurt, and people are going to get killed. Plain and simple. JB Mops, welcome. We appreciate you, guy. We haven't seen you in a while. Thank you for being here. Mark Sleepka is here. Mark, thank you for being here. We appreciate you here. God bless you. Does anybody have any questions about anything that we've talked about tonight? I want to make sure we answer any questions. Okay? Before we get out of here, I want to talk to you just about a couple more things here. USGS is suppressing our program. Number one, they're not reporting the number of people that are watching our program. We've had upwards of over 1,000 people watching our program. Lately, they're not reporting much more than 850, 860 people. At the beginning, right after we get off the air, they're showing us having maybe 200 people having watched our program. I can go into the interior part of the analytics, and it shows, like last night, we had over 648 people watched our program during our program. 648. Yet, right after we got off the air, it only showed just over 200. They're suppressing the information, not letting anybody know exactly how well this program is doing. They do not want people to see this program. If they did, they'd be showing the real numbers. Because other people all over YouTube would want to watch this program like they did the last program, or last channel we had here, where we had over 25,000 subscribers to our last channel here. Now we have just under 2,000, approaching 1,900 subscribers to this program. Before I came on the air tonight, we had 1,869 subscribers. They're also unsubscribing people. So what I'm going to ask you tonight is make sure you check your subscriptions. Make sure you're still subscribed to this program and haven't been unsubscribed. I know it's been about a week, maybe longer, since I last talked about this, but it's important. Number one, for you to be notified when we come on the air. If you don't know you're not subscribed to this program, you won't be told. If you are subscribed, they're also messing with something else. It's called their notification plan. There's a little bell icon. You need to click on that. When you click on that little bell icon, you're going to see a drop-down menu of 3 items. Click on the word ALL. That should get you notified whenever we come on the air. Dawn, even I have been unsubscribed from my own program. Dawn and many other people, including Rob52 and others, have been unsubscribed and had to resubscribe. My friend Laura Marie from Oregon has been unsubscribed and had to resubscribe. Please check your subscriptions and make sure you're still subscribed to the Emergency Management Associates program. Okay? Make sure you're subscribed. I didn't see any super chats here tonight. If I missed something, please let me know, because I want to acknowledge those people that support our program in way of super chats. And if you guys send us cards and letters and stick in some support in the middle of a card or a letter and send it to our P.O. Box, which is here on the program tonight on our program banner, P.O. Box 422, Valdese, Valdese, North Carolina, zip code is 28690. If you do that, we'll also put your name, or at least your first name, on the air. If you don't want us to tell everybody who you are, we'll at least recognize that you help support the program. You can also do that with PayPal and Venmo. We have 2 PayPal locations and 1 Venmo location at the top of the program description just below this program today. You can do that. We appreciate it. We need your support. We need your support. They keep upping the ante when it comes to our broadcast capability here. They keep increasing the amount of they don't increase the bandwidth, but they keep increasing the price of the bandwidth that we need to put this program on. So we appreciate any support that you can give us. We really do. That means the world to us. And I understand it's Christmas time. Everybody has your own bills and everything else in your lives. I understand that. By the way, my friend Donna, who's part of the EMA family here, she sent us $40 donation to our PayPal, not to our PayPal, but to our Venmo last night, which I greatly appreciate. Okay? I really do appreciate that, Donna. Thank you so much. But folks, we need you to help support us. We really do. Now, earlier today, I checked out our Rumble channel. It's still there. I've set it up to maybe do a program tomorrow morning on Rumble. And I will be talking about politics on the Rumble channel. I already have a whole litany of things to discuss. So if you want to go over to Rumble tomorrow morning, you may see us on the air. I don't know exactly what time tomorrow morning, but I plan to come on the air on Rumble again. And gradually, I'll wean everybody else all over to Rumble. Okay? We need you there as well. Why? Because YouTube is shutting people down here on YouTube. I don't trust them. I think they took down our last channel. I want to make sure that all of you have a way to get important emergency information and preparedness information, no matter what. I used to trust YouTube, but over the last 4.5, almost 5 years now, April 3rd next year will be 5 years. Okay? April 3rd next year will be 5 years. They shut my last channel down after 4.5. Actually, 4 years. They shut down after 4 years. JB Map says it's confusing to figure out which PayPal to send donations to. You can send them to either one. Either one. It's fine. JB Map says he sent a PayPal donation once and it went to a different address. I'm sorry about that. Okay? But I appreciate each and every one of you and your support. It means a great deal to me. But I don't trust the company here. Google, YouTube are enemies, basically. Okay? They're enemies. Now I said it. Folks, they censor us. They suppress our program. They don't want people to see it, unfortunately. I've loved being on this YouTube. I really have. And I will stay on here as long as I can. But I don't trust them to not shut this program down. Folks, I want to let you go over and watch the Rockefeller tree get lit up. I hope there's no real bad repercussions from the Palestinians and BLM, because they did a number over in Washington last night. And I have a feeling they just want attention over here in Rockefeller Center in New York. Now, folks, before I leave, I want to leave you with a word, okay? Over here in Hebrews chapter 2. I want to start in chapter 2, verse 6. But once in a certain place testified, saying, what is man, that thou art mindful of him? Or the Son of Man, that thou visitest him? Thou madest him a little lower than the angels. Thou crownest him with glory and honor, and didst set him over the works of thy hands. Thou hast put all things in subjection under his feet. For in that time he put all subjection under him, he left nothing that is not put under him. But now we see not yet all things put under him. Who is him? Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, our Savior. Folks, during the next 30 days, actually 25 days, we'll be celebrating Christmas, the second part of the trilogy of holidays that will end the end of this year. Think about Jesus Christ and what he's done for each one of us. Thank him for what he's given you, what he's helped us with, all of us. He's helped me become closer to him. He's helped me be able to teach you about him. I've been teaching these classes for 4.5 years now. Actually 5 years. I've been teaching gospel doctrine classes for 5 years. Prior to that, I was doing missionary work. So I've been teaching the gospel of Jesus Christ for most of my life now. I love the Savior. I do. I ask each and every one of you to find out for yourself who the Savior is and become stronger in love with the Savior. Make Him the center of your life. I want to thank everybody that's been here on our channel tonight. I love each and every one of you. We have 103 thumbs up, 103 likes. If you have not already liked our channel before now, do so on your way out, please. We definitely appreciate it. Now, folks, I care, or I would not even be here. I care about each and every one of you and everybody around the world. Please tell everybody you see or contact about this channel. Your family, your extended family, your friends, your neighbors, your social media contacts, and even the people you work with. Please tell them about this channel. Tell them what we've done for you tonight. If we've given you any information that you could use to help you yourself, tell them. Let them know. Share our channel with them. Help them find it. I'm here for all of you. We are here together as a family to help each other. God bless you, brothers and sisters. God bless you. May the Lord be with you this day and always. God be with you until we meet again. We will see you on the other side about this same time tomorrow night. God be with you till we meet again. Thank you so much. I love you very much. See you soon, guys. Good night.